Now, with the words affordable and AR-15 next to each other, I want to clarify before someone jumps all over me. We're not talking about World War II surplus arms or an SKS. Not that those can't be functional or serviceable guns, but once you have your mind made up that you want to invest in an AR-15, then we're on the same page. Now, the reason is retail prices of AR-15s has been out of control. Like gas prices, it'll come off a little bit and start to come back down, but it will never be where it was 12 months ago. And it goes back to the November presidential election, followed not long after by the heart-wrenching murders in Connecticut in December. The market reaction to legislation of American gun owners has been that of action. They've been buying up anything that's related to the AR-15 at an unprecedented rate. Now I'll illustrate with the tracking of 3 different brands. Prices of high-quality Colt AR-15s were between $900 and $1,100. The peak prices since are over $3,000 before the supply dried up. Likewise, Bushmaster. They started out around $800 to $1,000 and topped out since then well over $2,500. DPMS, though a good weapon, has been mostly targeted at the entry-level AR-15 shooter or hobbyist. They do that through cutting corners where possible to help keep the prices lower. We even saw those climb from $750 to well over $2,000. That's just a lot of money. No matter how you look at it, the cost of an AR-15 is a significant investment. For a generic rifle that's identical to many that came out of the factory at the exact same time, but what if I told you that you could build a custom rifle for less money? The AR-15 is a platform weapon. Like your custom gaming computer or motorcycle, it's made up of parts you can purchase individually from dozens of different manufacturers. And like a PC or a vehicle, you can just buy it off the shelf with a name brand with mediocre parts, or you can build your own for less. You can start something that with time will get better and better as you keep upgrading. So let's break it down, because there are tons of parts in an AR-15, and it can be very overwhelming at first, so I'm going to try to simplify it into 4 different groups. The first group, this is legally the rifle, so you should buy this first, because you can ensure that you own a gun before any new state bans take effect. So make sure that you buy quality, because this is legally the rifle. And we can see that the recent push on gun legislation, it shows us that they're going to keep trying to ban ARs. So right now that cheap $100 nylon lower, or a lower that's machined from a lower grade of aluminum, may look appealing, but after a few thousand rounds it's going to be cracked and corroded. It's going to leave you wishing that you'd invested in something of more quality. Now honestly, most folks are quick to run out and buy a pre-made manufactured lower. Let's just call it XYZ Tactical Lower. The bottom line is, laws target those 3 little words stamped on the bottom of the gun, and they can be passed just based on that. There's a way of ensuring that no future law will outlaw your rifle just because of the words that are written on your gun. It's called an 80% lower or a partially machined lower. This is a lower receiver that you complete on your own with a little bit of work, and legally manufacturing your own gun makes it impossible to ban your own name. So while all those guys with name brand rifles like Bushmasters worry that their rifles may get added to a blacklist, your XYZ Tactical is near impossible to ban by name. But if they try to ban it by other means, you can simply swap out parts for a self-manufactured lower and always stay ahead of the lower information politicians. Now the high-end lowers range from $300 to about a high of $800. Yes, I did say $800 because folks that know they can get high dollar price tags. Now the gun shop will claim that the ones they are selling are better than anyone else's. Well, they need to sell what they have because it's business. The simple truth is that most of the lowers come from a tiny handful of factories, and those factories supply to the big guys. These other receivers are the overruns of the seconds. There are some that maybe didn't meet the quality standards of the big guys. Could be a scratch or could be something else. These parts are engraved with some other brand's name and sold to you at higher prices. I'm not saying that everyone is doing this. We've personally seen this going on. And if your gun shop doesn't recognize this, Well, it's not that they're lying to you, it's just that they're telling you what their sales rep told them, or what someone wrote on the internet. And as we all know, everything on the internet just isn't true. Now the second group, your buffer tube and stock and grip, it's not required that you buy these parts in order, but you've got to keep going somehow. And we recommend this order as it gets you something that appears more like a rifle over time. It's just more satisfying that way. Now this group of parts comes with some important decisions that will set the tone for your custom rifle. First is color. Is it going to be a black gun, coyote, foliage green? There's such a wide selection of parts to choose from machined aluminum forends on down. But even if you just go with the polymer mag bolt parts, you'll have a rifle that looks so much nicer than any other off-the-shelf rifle. And think, if you buy that off-the-shelf rifle, you would still end up having to buy those OEM parts that came with it. And you'll likely want to change those parts out to one degree or another because they just don't look right, and eventually you're going to end up buying custom parts as a replacement. You'll just end up leaving those OEM parts in a drawer, basically buying the same parts twice and wasting your hard-earned money. So do it right the first time for less money. Now the third group, we recommend the barrel and the forend parts as your next major purchase, simply because they're the most difficult to get quality, affordability, and get it quickly. You can take some time shopping around, so consider if you're going to paint or coat, you need the barrel and the forend before you do that anyway. Well, there's a lot of choices on barrels. Caliber type, length, rate of twist, etc. So take your time here, do the homework. The barrel is going to make your rifle. Now the fourth group, your upper receiver, this is the final part you need to finish off your rifle. And this will consist of the upper parts and the bolt parts. Now you're ready to assemble. So let's add it up, because it really is simple math. You've got Group 1, Group 2, Group 3, Group 4. Those added up can range anywhere from $695 to $1,240. Compared to today's prices, that's affordable. But now for the best part. Do you want to spend $2,000 up front? Or do you want to spend parts as you can afford it? Consider that you can also barter for parts, thereby saving more money and making it even more affordable. Now with another added bonus, you might only need one rifle now, but in the future, you may want more options. You can get more styles, colors, a backup rifle, whatever. All you really need to do is purchase a few extra lowers and keep them in your safe. You can build depending on your needs or the future political climate. The age-old question really is, do you want to build it or do you want to buy it? Custom rifle, $800, or generic rifle, $2,000, $3,000, plus likely $200 to $600 in custom parts eventually. It's your choice.